Which Gossip Girl co-star was Leighton Meester hooking up with? Why was Chace deemed a predator after dating this underage star? And did Penn Badgley marry his rebound after his breakup with Blake Lively? Leighton Meester. We think it's only fitting that we start with our much-loved Queen Bee, who went from eating lunch on the Met stairs and leading Manhattan's elite to living a real-life rom-com. After Gossip Girl ended, it seemed that Meester was more than happy to say goodbye to all of her fellow co-stars, except for one, Sebastian Stan. Yes, Blair and Carter Bazin dated in real life and were totally in a long-term relationship. And while Gossip Girl stans across the globe were happy to see at least one on-screen couple make it out into the real world, the two did eventually split. Following her first major public breakup, it seemed that Meester was keen to keep a low profile on the dating front. But then she would go on to give us a real-life series crossover that we could only ever dream of. Leighton ended up dating and eventually marrying Adam Brody, and so the OC and Gossip Girl crossover began. According to reports, the chemistry between Meester and Brody was instant from the moment they met on the show The Oranges. But the two played coy and only eventually began dating in 2013. A year later, Meester was rocking a new diamond ring and wedding bells were ringing. In 2015, the young couple decided to start their very own family and welcome their first child, daughter Arlo Day Brody. And just a few months ago, the couple welcomed their second son. The two have yet to release the name of their new baby, and we can't help but wonder where Gossip Girl is when you need her. Huh? Chace Crawford. Now here's a definite sight for sore eyes. We guess it's been a while since we last had our precious heart stolen by Nate Archibald, and it seems he still has everyone swooning as the 35-year-old actor is still single. But we thought we'd do a little relationship background check on the star in a way that only true Gossip Girl stans could appreciate. This just in, our favorite city boy, Chace Crawford, seems to have a little soft spot for country, as he was spotted cozying up to country singer Carrie Underwood back in 2008. And if that had you shocked? Wait until you see how the two broke up. Underwood shared in an interview that they broke up via text message. Sounds a little like the breakup between Joe Jonas and Taylor Swift if you ask us. But Crawford wouldn't be single for too long. Obviously, he was later spotted with Twilight's Ashley Greene and Dancing with the Stars' Erin Andrews too. Both relationships were rather short-lived, but it was his next relationship that had fans freaking out. Apparently, Little J and Nate weren't just flirting on screen, but behind the scenes too. Yes, according to Page 6, Taylor Momsen, who played alongside Crawford in Gossip Girl, was totally hooking up with Crawford. And here's where things get scandalous. She was 15 years old, and he was 23. Yikes. This led a few fans to call out the actor for being a predator, given the fact that Momsen was under the age of 18. The two never confirmed or denied anything, but the few shots that the paparazzi took of the two said all we need to know. So what's he up to now? Well, dating. Chatting to Us Weekly, he revealed that he's dating around. Being from Texas, there's a little more pressure to get married, but I'm not really on that spectrum. I'm on a different train. I've learned I need a couple of decades of maturity, he said. So, it's safe to say that Crawford is very much on the market. Penn Badgley. All right, when it comes to romances, who could forget the juicy love story between Dan and Serena? It was as if they were the star-crossed lovers of the 21st century. Sorry, Romeo and Juliet. You know, with Dan being from Brooklyn and Serena being the Upper East Side it girl. And well, in a true life imitates art kind of way, it seems that the sparks between these two were so electric that they ended up dating in real life. Yes, Dan Humphrey and Serena Vanderwoodson were the real deal, for 3 years anyway. But the two broke up secretly as they continued filming Gossip Girl. Following that major heartbreak, Penn found comfort in the arms of Zoe Kravitz, daughter of the famous musician Lenny Kravitz. Kravitz and Badgley dated for 2 whole years and even moved into a New York apartment together. So, while many thought this was a mere rebound, it turned out to be pretty serious rather quickly. However, eventually the romance fizzled and they called it quits after realizing that both their careers kept them apart. So once again, Penn returned to being lonely boy. But thankfully, that wouldn't last very long. Penn ended up meeting singer Domino Kirk back in 2017, and the two have been married ever since. The two decided to tie the knot at the Brooklyn courthouse and opted to keep their private lives, well, private. But we do know that the two welcomed their very first child together, a little baby boy, back in September, and we can't wait for the happy couple to release photos of their new bundle of joy. Ed Westwick. The last time we saw the much-loved hotel mogul Chuck Bass, he was keeping a low profile and going from his popular on-screen romance with Blair to putting viewers through the most tumultuous relationship roller coaster ever known. It seemed that Westwick's real-life romances would have to quit the match. So, who could he date that could possibly dethrone his on-screen love affair with Blair Waldorf? Well, none other than South African model Tamara Francesoni. The two began dating last year after Westwick slid into her DMs on Instagram. Yes, apparently fans aren't the only people to DM famous faces. Westwick does it too, and it worked. Now, for those of you keen on taking notes and finding out what Ed Westwick's opening line was, here it is. Hi. Yup, that's it. Thankfully, the 23-year-old Tamara knew exactly who he was and was totally shocked by the message. We then chatted for a while, and he asked me on a date, which I assumed would be a dinner, but instead he took me to a butterfly sanctuary in Mayfair, shared Tamara on Instagram Live. But before these two lovebirds were cozying up, there was some serious drama ahead for Westwick. Back in 2017, the actor was accused of sexually assaulting actress Christina Cohen. Another woman, former actress Rayleigh Wynn, then came forward, and along with Cohen too. A third accuser also came forward after the original two claims as well. But after investigating the allegations, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office said that there was not enough evidence to file formal charges. The actor claims to be relieved with the outcome and continues to look forward to putting the scandal behind him. Blake Lively. Now, if you don't know about Lively's real-life relationship, which is truly goals, then where have you been for like the last 9 years? If you aren't up to date, let's quickly fill you in. When you last saw Lively back in 2012, she was loved up with Lonely Boy. But as we know, that relationship eventually ended. And just when we thought we couldn't handle seeing her with anyone else, she met Deadpool, aka Ryan Reynolds, and it seemed like all of our dreams came true. So how did these two end up becoming one of Hollywood's favorite power couples? Well, meeting on the set of the superhero movie Green Lantern. The two didn't instantly have chemistry, as they were actually dating other people at the time. Ryan was married to Scarlett Johansson. Yes, we know, what a throwback! And Blake was still with Penn Badgley. After some time, Ryan and Scarlett filed for divorce. And as we know, Blake and Penn broke up too. But it would take a rather strange blind date for Ryan and Blake to realize that they obviously had some major chemistry. And this is where things get hilarious. It turns out that both Ryan and Blake were on a group blind date, except they were paired with other people. Yep, whilst they were originally set up with other people, they clearly only had hard eyes for each other. Looking back on the rather unconventional way of meeting, even Reynolds admitted that it was a tad awkward. That was the most awkward date for their perspective probably, because we were just like fireworks coming across. Blake and Ryan would then secretly get married in a surprise wedding, and even with our golden couple living in marital bliss, they would soon land themselves in some rather hot water. It turns out that their wedding location was on a plantation that had been used to house many slaves. Ryan profusely apologized, saying they were unaware of the history of the location and that they should have done their research. Fast forward 7 years after their marriage and first public scandal, they welcomed two daughters, James and Inez. In 2019, Lively gave birth to their third daughter, Betty. And we just love how Ryan is living in a household filled with girl power. Taylor Momsen. It seems that Little J has had few public relationships. Back in 2010, the blonde-haired singer was linked to British musician Nat Weller, but their relationship seemed pretty short-lived and kind of under the radar. But she was showing no signs of giving up on love, as she was later spotted with British TV personality Jack Osborne. Following their breakup, rumors started circulating the internet that Momsen was gay after a steamy video of the Pretty Reckless singer leaked where she was giving a female fan a lap dance. Well, she was quick to put the rumors to bed, saying that she was just having a little fun with her fans. So, while Momsen may be single, she did open up about how she does eventually want to settle down, get married, and start a little family of her own. And this just proves that Little J isn't so little anymore. They grow up so fast. Jessica Zore. It's been a while since we caught up with Dan's BFF, Vanessa, but a lot has been happening in her love life, so you may want to listen up. The real tea is that the actress was dating bad boy Bass, aka Ed Westwick, back in 2008, and they even dated for a few years. But that isn't exactly even the most shocking part, believe it or not. According to several reports, Ed broke up with Jess after hearing rumors that she was flirting with one of his best friends, Marco Minuto. One source told Page 6, quote, Jessica recently celebrated her birthday in LA and was being openly affectionate and flirty with Marco. They ended up back back at the same hotel, but nobody knows what happened behind closed doors. Jess immediately flew to try and reconcile things with Westwick, but he was done. But the 35-year-old Jess still got her happy ending, as a few years later she would fall in love with professional hockey player Brad Richardson. The two have been dating for over a year now and announced that they are expecting their first child together, and we can't wait to meet their little one soon. What are your thoughts on the OG Gossip Girl cast's relationships and how they all seem to have dated one another? Let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.